The Thursday, August 28th, 2014, regular meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. And to pursue that, we'll open with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replayed on Saturday, August 30th, 2014 at 1 p.m. and Monday, September 1st, 2014 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14, webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Public opportunities to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdiction, including items on and not on the agenda, are provided. Board Clerk, do we have a speaker? Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Mr. Ralph Gomez. Would you please come up to the podium?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, board members. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity and thank the true heroes of our community, and just provide a little information on our company. My name is Ralph Gomez. I'm the project coordinator for Domus Construction and statewide fire reconstruction. Domus is a high-end custom home builder here in Northern California and the Northwest. Domus was originally a conglomeration of several companies specializing in custom home building, from carpentry, tile setting, roofing, landscaping, and interior design. Our owner and CEO, Max Yerson, pulled together all these specialized entities to form Domus Construction in 2009. Max reached out to recruit the very best in these specialized fields, from carpentry, master craftsmen, to the very best artisans from around the world to complete Domus Construction. Our work's been featured in various architectural design magazines, and we've been the recipient of some of the most prestigious awards bestowed upon a contractor for quality and design. Max oversees 100 employees during the peak times in the year. He not only is a custom home builder and designer, but an active member in his community and hands-on philanthropist. Our charitable reach-out programs for foster kids and hungry kids programs are beyond reproach. We also provide opportunities for our military families to donate percentages of the profits to the Wounded Veterans and Homeless Veterans programs in their names. It's because of our success here at Domus we wanted to have a larger role within our community. With such programs as the Firefighters Kids Camp and the Little Heroes Preschool Burn Camp, we also will be participating in the First Alarm Chili Cook-Off. So hopefully all you guys will be there. Okay. In 2010, Domus was asked to help a previous customer with a fire loss claim on their home. It's through this we found a very gratifying peace of mind of helping a family rebuild back their life due to a fire that destroyed everything. While rebuilding back a fire-damaged home using all the resources of Domus and working with the insurance companies, we found an opportunity to not only rebuilding something back better than before with no cost to the homeowner, but a way to keep everybody employed during the downtimes. At that point, Max formed a subsidiary company called Statewide Fire Reconstruction in 2011. Max took the same approach to Statewide as he did with Domus in recruiting the very best talent available in the insurance business. From estimators to highly skilled restoration talent, we currently have on staff 75 years of estimator experience recruited for some of the biggest insurance companies in America. Companies like Allstate, Farmers, AAA, to name a few. These estimators were the top performers in their fields with these insurance companies. They now are used to estimate losses for Statewide, providing us and the homeowners with accurate costs and smooth transitions with the insurance companies with little or no chance of industry error, and providing statewide and the homeowner a favorable budget to rebuild back the perfect home with no out-of-pocket expense. Today, Statewide is considered one of the largest independent fire reconstruction companies in the area in the Northwest. In January 2013, I actively pursued a position on the Board Up list, a list that a selection committee selected through an application process in 2012. It's a list that currently has 5 contractors with an obligation of 2 years to the city and to the county. This obligation ends in 2015, so applications need to be returned by the end of 2014. When I visited the dispatch center in January 2014 for our application, I was told to return mid-year by Janice Parker at that time, and I would receive the application. When I returned in May, I was told that the current list of contractors were to be extended for another year with no viable reason for extension. Which brings us to speaking to you guys today. There currently are 4 out of 5 contractors that lived and thrived on this list. They've been on this list for years, some of them 10 years, when there even wasn't an official list. The selection committee was formed 2 years ago.
Excuse me, sir. We do have a limit on the speaking time.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The selection committee was formed 2 years ago for a couple of reasons. One, to give the fire department an opportunity to release a scene to a capable and reliable contractor who could secure a loss, work with the occupants with compassion and trust, a contractor who will work within the guidelines of the insurance company if one was available, and of course, the other was to release the fire department so that they may move on to the next and save lives. I also believe it was the intention of the committee to provide an opportunity for other contractors to have a chance to serve their community as well. Given the magnitude and demand of such an opportunity to work in these dog days of construction. Statewide is committed to help the fire departments in any way possible, including learning more about board ups and other related programs. For this reason, you'll see us around these meetings and others, taking in as much information as possible to be as much of a configurating company to help and aid your efforts in our community as possible. Therefore, with that said, I ask the board to reconsider the extension. Bring the selection committee back, select new contractors so that they may have an opportunity to serve their community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I can add something.
Please.
First off, we're a little unclear that there was an extension that was granted.
Yeah.
You are not the only person who has expressed interest. I've inquired about this for several times over the last 6 months. So with that, if you could see Deputy Chief Cockrum, who's sitting back there when you're done, would like to get your name and information. It's a JPA, so it's a group of the different departments that are together. But this is the first I've heard that they've extended the existing contract. And if that's the case, I was giving inaccurate information because I was told that it was going to go out for an RFP in 2015 as well. And I had other contractors who called, and of course, we can't favor anybody.
Right.
But we like to give them accurate information. So I think we will do some research. Chief Cockrum will get a hold of you and get your information, and we will get back to you.
Chief Hankey, thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Moving then to the consent items.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we adopt. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Monk?
Aye.
Wood?
Abstain.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Gould?
Aye.
Clark?
Abstain.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
And Orzali?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving then to, since there are no action items.
We have an award item.
Oh, excuse me.
Mr. President.
I got ahead of myself. You're absolutely right. I'd like to move to the first item with the Civilian Life-Saving Commendation to retired Captain Roger Mitchell.
President of the board, board of directors, citizens, and those people in the audience, both in home and here in present. This is a great day. We honor citizens throughout the year for heroic acts. And though it's not uncommon to have somebody who's retired from the public safety or fire profession, such as Roger, step up to the plate, before I read all of the heroic acts with which he took and why he's getting this award tonight, I think the context that needs to be there is that Roger Mitchell just didn't do this one time as far as helping people. That's his character and that's what he does. And he has helped tremendously this district, the residents out in Rio Linda. He's a community activist extraordinaire. I think if I said he was persistent, that would be an underestimation in regards to what he does and what he brings to the district and the community. And I mean that in the highest sense. And so really for all those things that you've done, from the firehouse restoration to Old Betsy to all the things that you participate in, this is just one of those crowning things that shows the selflessness that you show and what you have done for your community on a long-term basis. On April 26, 2014, Roger Mitchell was driving home with friends Bill Thatcher and Charles Gordon after attending an antique truck show in Cool, California. Roger was driving with Bill Thatcher, who was in the front passenger seat with Charles Gordon in the back seat. As best Charles can remember, he got a cramp in his left side. Roger looked back and asked if he was okay. Charles took his seatbelt off, which is the last thing he remembers until waking up at Mercy San Juan Hospital. Roger is a retired Metro fire captain and realized that Charles needed help immediately. He knew there was no time to look for a telephone or wait for a passerby to call for help. Knowing they were very close to Metro Fire Station 41, he made the decision to drive there. If it had not been for the fast actions and that decision of retired Captain Roger Mitchell and the crew at Station 41, Charles would not have survived. He had, in fact, a ruptured aorta, and without immediate medical attention, this normally is a fatal condition which one does not survive from. Charles wants to thank Roger, Bill, and the crew at Station 41 and the nurses and doctors of Mercy San Juan Medical Center for saving his life. It is with great honor that Metro Fire presents to former Fire Captain Roger Mitchell a certificate of life-saving commendation. The commendation is for extraordinary efforts to protect and preserve human life on April 26, 2014. And as I said before, there really is nobody that's more deserving on a consistent basis in life. They lead their life that way than you, Roger. And so it's on behalf of the district an honor to present you with this life-saving award.
Before I speak, I would certainly like to introduce and have come forward the gentleman that wrote that letter, Mr. Chuck Gordon, and the gentleman that was with me that day, Mr. Bill Fancher. So would you come up here with me, please? Bill, come on. This is a team effort. Director Azali, our board member, Mr. Gary Monk, directors, Chief Hinkie, administration in the audience, President of Local 522, Brian Rice, men and women of Metro Fire. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Chuck Gordon. He's with us. We couldn't lose him because we need him in the restoration project, so it was self-serving, if you will. Bill Fancher was with me that day. And I would share this with you, board members. I've stood before you on many occasions. I've asked you to come to dinners, give you updates on what we're doing with Old 111 and number 2. I've watched you give awards to other far more deserving people than myself. never thinking I would be standing here this evening for this. And when a person retires, they take an enormous amount of training, ability with them when they retire. You hope you never have to use it. And as I think back in my retirement, the time of when my daughter fell at a family outing, and she says, "Dad, my arm hurts." Well, if it hurts in the morning, we'll take you to the doctor. And she always reminds me that when she went to the doctor, they put a cast on her arm. And then when your granddaughter says, "Help me with this Band-Aid, Grandpa," and then when your great-granddaughter says, "Grandpa, I have an owie." That being said, there comes that time where there's more than that. And this was one of those times. The great heroes here are not myself or Mr. Bill Fancher. It's the medics and the men and women at Station 41. I remember vividly when they were taking the vitals for Chuck and listening to what was going on. And when the medic called for a certain size needle to start the IV, realizing that this was a large bore needle. That's what saved Mr. Gordon's life. We've all heard of that magic hour to get him in the hands of the surgeon. That's what happened. Those people at 41 are the true heroes. Not only just the people at 41, but as I remember when I was 16 years old and I went to work as a volunteer in Rio Linda, and just because my dad was on the rescue squad, why, I got to be in the rescue squad because you had an advanced first aid card and a CPR card. And look what our people can do today. Mr. Gordon wouldn't be with us if that's the kind of training we had today. And that being said, you wonder, what will they be doing 15 years from now that we're not doing today? So the men and women of Metro Fire, on an hourly, on a daily, weekly, and a monthly basis, save human lives that most of your constituents, I don't think, realize the job they do for our community. So in closing, I would tell you again that the real heroes here aren't myself and Mr. Fancher, but they're the men, personnel at Station 41 that got the job done, and the men and women as a whole of Sac Metro Fire. And I would certainly be proud to answer any questions that the board members might have, or Chief Hinkie or the administration. Thank you very much.
I'll make this real short. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for my life.
Absolutely.
It's good to see you, Chuck.
You know, if I can make a comment, there may be a series of heroes involved here, but I'd be willing to bet that Mr. Fancher has identified Roger as the first one. So seeing that we have no action items this evening, we're going to move into the President's report, and at the end of this, as we go, say it again? Yeah. So, once again. Is he not up for election yet? It was just a thought. Anyway, so President's report. I'd like to remind everyone of the Sac Metro Public Safety Foundation golf tournament that's going on tomorrow at Rancho Murrieta. It promises to be a very successful event, and we are looking forward to it, even though we, as in I, do not play golf. I'm looking forward to watching the chief. And the other item is to the board members. I am asking for the formation of an ad hoc committee on the subject of overtime and inviting directors to make me aware of their interest in participating. So if you would forward that to me in an email, we will begin the process of bringing that together.
Okay.
Moving on then. To the chief's report.
Well, first and foremost, I won't be playing golf tomorrow either, so let me make that clear. I can't imagine spending 4 or 5 hours out in the heat with either not catching something or doing something otherwise that way instead of chasing a small ball. But I also will be out there to say hello and have my chilled ice water and cheer everybody on. And it's going to be well attended. I understand we have darn near 120 or somewhere around there, which is
That's
pretty
correct.
good for our first golf tournament. And so it's pretty exciting. And I think, you know, it just is a testament to show how far the district has come and the board of directors and the vision of President Orzali and all those people that worked with Brenda Briggs and Larry Davis and all his staff and everything that have really tried to help out, and Rusty Dupre and Linda Budge and those people from the community that have all put this in together to help make this foundation what it is. And that's to help raise funds for things like fire camp and for the cardiac chest compression units and stuff like that. And again, it's not just to benefit our agency, but all public safety agencies in the Sacramento County region. So just a tremendous opportunity. I'm sure everybody will have a great time. As far as earth-shattering events, I think the biggest thing that has happened in a long time, first we had the passage of the original GEMT bill that we talked about. Today, it's with a huge sense of pride on this behalf of this organization, Chief Clough, all the people in this department who worked so hard on this. Assembly Bill 2577 passed the Assembly on concurrence with Senate amendments and is on its way to the governor's desk. The vote was 73-0. And through a lot of diligent work, and Chief Clough spending some time on the road and dealing with appropriations, we believe we have language in there that now will not only address the HMO component, but also the pre-hospital stabilization issue as well for transport agencies. There will still have to be more legislation for non-transport agencies. And again, so far we've got about $150 million in the first round to departments throughout California. The HMO component takes us to probably about $500 million. And in regards to the pre-hospital stabilization, when it reaches full utilization, will be almost $1 billion a year coming into the state of California to fire agencies and cities. And, you know, hopefully people use it for what it's for, which is to put suppression resources on the street and to give service back into the community. And when you think about it, the SAFER grants that we get on a nationwide basis are only $650 million a year. So this, and what this organization, these people out here did, is outstanding. And it was Metro that led the way. Dr. Pan did a tremendous job in the beginning. And our hero today on this bill is really Assemblymember Cooley, who took this and through his legislative prowess, which he has a lot of years of experience, really worked to get this thing through. And so without him, without Assemblymember Pan, we wouldn't be where we are today. Clearly, hats off also to the California Fire Chiefs Association and the California Professional Firefighters who stepped up to the plate, clearly with their lobbying efforts to make sure that we got it through with no opposition. So I think that's one of the hugest, largest things that's probably ever happened in my 30-something years in the fire service to come around the bend, and this agency was the tip of the spear on that. We are continuing with crude oil by rail updates, and the next meeting's in Long Beach, which is going to be, I believe, around the time of the Cal Chiefs and Metro Chiefs meeting on the 29th and 30th of September. And another event happened on the 21st. Metro Fire joined with Assemblyman Ken Cooley for sidewalk CPR on the steps of the Capitol. I think that's probably the first time that that's been done. It was a huge success. Unfortunately, the meetings I was in ran until 1, so I never got down there to see it, but it was well attended and very well accepted. And we will certainly next time, I've been chastised a little bit by other agencies that they weren't involved. That was not intentional, but we will make sure that once it's success, we get everybody in there to join in, because the more people we can train, the better. We continue to meet and confer with Local 522 in regards to economic impacts. Our single role paramedic 14-2 graduation happened last night with 21 young women and men who graduated into the single role program that continues to be an immense success. And we talked about the golf tournament. Remember, on September 6th and 7th, we have the air show. And also on the 3rd and 5th of September, myself and Chief Clough will be presenting at the California League of Cities in regards to emergency medical service delivery in California, and GEMT and a bunch of other issues. Reassignments, 9/8, Captain Adam Mitchell, training day assignment. Opportunities, accepting letter of interest for EMS shift captain, close on 9/3. Effective 8/7, firefighter Shannon Baker retired with 11 years of service. And effective 8/15, firefighter Kyle Thomas with 26 years of service retired as well. And last but least, on a personal note, I want to thank all of you that were so kind on Sunday to call me. As you know, my home is in Napa, or my family homes are in Napa, and my parents, and we suffered a lot of damage. But the most important thing was that my parents were not hurt. Everybody was healthy. And as somebody described it, if you were to go downtown, my mom's house is about 5 blocks away from the actual downtown area. It looked like a movie set. And I will tell you that driving up there on a Sunday morning at 5 o'clock in the dark, it's the first time in history that I ever looked in the entire Napa Valley area. There was not one light on in the entire valley, and all you could see was the fires burning at the different mobile home parks and stuff like that. So for those people that called far and wide, I was greatly appreciative. I even got a call from a former general president of the International last night for the IFF, and deeply touched. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Please.
Welcome. Mr. President, Board of Directors, Chief Hinkie, Darren Taylor, Assistant Chief of Operations, here tonight to give you your operational brief since our last board meeting. Before I get started on the numbers of what the men and women have ran over the last couple weeks, I'd like to actually tie it into, if you know that, as you know, every time that I'm done, I always say thank you to the men and women who are on the floor and what they do every single day. They run a lot of calls, which you guys hear about. But what you don't know is just the calls that they run, we take for granted, I think, because this is what we do. We are used to it. I think retired Captain Mitchell pretty much summed it up. They are heroes. And it's something we do take for granted every day because we sit around here and we forget about the day in and day out, every call, every day. And we don't really hear too much about it until something like this happens. So on behalf of the operations staff and on behalf of the district, and I say it every single time, I truly, as the spokesman for those men and women on the floor, I want to say thank you, and I'm very proud of what they do every day that we actually don't hear about their calls, because these calls go on every day. We heard about it this time because it was a retired fire captain. There's hundreds of them every single day. So with that, since the last meeting, our men and women have ran 3,499 total calls. They've had 4 working fires, 16 vegetation fires, 2,715 EMS calls. They've transported 2,025 of those with a transport ratio of that's 74%. They've logged 3,483 training hours, and they've attended 6 community service events. So those are their numbers. We, as the operations staff, would like to thank you for approving the Type 5 engines that we purchased last year. They're going into service this Monday. They're going to go out there. We're going to do a rotation of a bunch of the apparatus, and soon, probably by the middle of the week, they're going to be running vegetation calls as we move through the summer. Metro Fire is going to be assisting and participating in the 9/11 stair climb, the 6th annual 9/11 stair climb on September 11th. Kind of for everyone to know that there is the 5K Run to Remember, which is happening on September 7th. I also, on the operations staff, would like to congratulate the single role paramedic graduates that graduated last night. It was well attended. It was done very well. Thank you, Chief Wells, for administering the oath to them. That was incredible. On September 8th, we will be starting a new fire academy for some new recruits, and we'd like to wish those recruits the best and hope for their success in their new phase of their careers. We have 4 drill instructors that have been assigned to there. So for Captain Beard, Captain Pick, Firefighter Gardner, and Firefighter Beveridge, it's an amazing event for them to take part in, and it is a career-changing when they come out of that academy. If people that have been in here as drill instructors would know, it makes you a better employee to understand what those men and women want when they get out of the academy. And then I have some great news. If you can remember about probably 2 board meetings ago, I reported out that Michelle Item, and with her diligent work, had established a relationship with the major 4 media outlets here in the Valley. And because of that, she is now tied into, she's actually getting viewership response sent to her that she is forwarding to Chief Holbrook. And we are proud to say that 2 weeks ago, we had a viewership for Metro Fire-related stories of 275,000 viewership minutes, or just 275,000 persons of viewership. This year, or this week, it jumped to 511,000 viewerships. We can't buy that kind of press. So congratulations on her hard, diligent work. I know she's working a lot behind the scenes with these 4 media outlets. That concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
I would just add to Chief Taylor's report today in preparing an updated slide in regard to call volume to echo the concerns about the men and women out there and what they're doing. The slide I had from 2 years ago, or actually I think it was last year's Cal Chiefs Conference, was dated at 80,000. We all know that we ran 84,000 runs last year, and today I was advised that we're on track to hit about 88,000 for the year.
That's right.
So, I mean, the bottom line is as we told the citizens exponentially, you know, that call volume increase is continuing to happen with less resources, less engines and trucks on the street. And so the bottom line is it just continues to go through the roof. So they deserve all the credit.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving then to the General Counsel's report.
No report tonight.
Moving then, thank you for that, and firefighters Local 522. Okay. Moving into the committee and delegates report. For the executive committee, there is presently no meeting is scheduled for the executive committee. Moving to the Communications Center JPA. Chief Cockrum.
All right, thank you, President Rosali. Director Scott Cockrum, Deputy Chief of Support Services. We had a meeting here on Tuesday for the Communications Center. The big item was we received a written request from River Delta and Isleton fire departments to become members of the Sacramento Regional Communications Center. They had previously been with Solano County for many years. They had a change in direction with that, which provided the Sacramento County OES, former retired Assistant Chief Steve Cantelmi's group over there, it became responsible for providing dispatch services essentially to them. There's been some other issues with sheriff's service to Isleton and what have you, so I think the sheriff's department is providing law enforcement services. At this point, we've agreed to conduct a study at the cost of Sacramento County OES to look into what the possibilities, technology and otherwise, would be to provide that service to them. We authorized the Communications Center Executive Director to work with Sacramento County OES and ensure that as long as we're going to pay for the study, that we would participate in that. So we still have a lot of things to work out. We have a lot of concerns and issues with that, and so that will be coming forth down the road. As far as the issue tonight with the board up crews, I've already talked to the executive director. There seems to possibly have been a miscommunication that occurred there. The contract for board up ends in January of 2015. Within the contract, there's an opportunity for the board to extend that agreement for 1 year for the RFP. That has not been brought forward to us. The executive director had not intended to bring that forward to us. And they'll have to, in the next several months, begin the RFP process for a new board up list. So that concludes my report. Any questions that I can answer? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving then to the California Fire and Rescue Training JPA with Director Kelly.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the JPA has not met since I last reported out. We have a meeting on September 18th at Tech Center Drive, and I must inform the alternate that I'll be unavailable that day. So hopefully the alternate will be available.
The alternate is available.
Excellent.
Thank you for that. And moving on to the Finance Committee with Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee will meet on September 11th, Thursday, 5 p.m. in this location.
Thank you. Seeing that Director Pearson is not with us, we'll move on from the Policy Committee to board members' questions and comments, and we'll start with Director Monk.
Okay, I just want to make a couple announcements of some events that are coming up. On October 5th, 2014, will be a fundraising dinner for the old Station 111 restoration crew. It'll be at the Rio Linda Park and Recreation District office, and the cost on that was $20. On November 8th, as the board knows, this time of year I get into fundraising for different community events. November 8th, we will be putting on a dinner in conjunction with the American Legion at the American Legion Hall in Rio Linda. And this year's event honors the vets. It honors the wounded warriors, disabled vets, and those people that are serving. And the intent is this year to feed the vets. The vets eat free. Anybody else is $10. We welcome everybody to attend. And I want to say right up front that I have been out in the community soliciting support for this, et cetera. And Local 522 has donated $1,500 towards this project to honor the vets. And hopefully Brian Rice, not here anymore, but hopefully Brian can come to the event and we can get the local crews to come in to spend time with these wounded warriors and these vets to show them that we really care and we really appreciate their service to our community. Again, the vets eat free. That's sponsored by the American Legion and the American Legion's doing the cooking. And we're going to support and additional dinners that the Legion has on November 11th and 23rd at the same deal. On Thanksgiving itself, November 27th, the VFW in Antelope on U Street, 3300 U Street, is sponsoring a Thanksgiving dinner for the vets. And again, the vets eat free, and we're helping them buy all the food and everything necessary to show our part in saying thanks for what they've done for us and keeping us safe. So that's all I've been working on. So I welcome any support from the other directors or anybody in the community. If you want to donate towards this project, help the vets and everything, give me a call. You can call the fire district here. And I appreciate any support we can get from the community to make it a true community Thanksgiving for the vets.
Thank you, Director, and congratulations on that very worthwhile endeavor. And moving then to Director Wood.
Just a couple of things, Chief. I'm very sorry that I got called away at the last meeting. I did get to miss your announcement, but I want to publicly say that I'm grateful. It's been an honor to have worked with you, and I'm grateful for the time and the education you've given me and your tireless commitment to our community during your tenure here, so I appreciate that. I know I said it privately to you and to the other chiefs, but I want to publicly thank the Community Services Division, Engine 62, and the single role paramedics that were at the Rosemont Celebration of Community. We've got some amazing people that work with us and represent our core values to our community every day in the way they act. And appreciate all the time that the district gives to our community for the sidewalk CPR and other community events. And that's all I have, so thank you.
Thank you. And Director Scheidegger.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. And so Director Gold.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to publicly thank Chief Clough. Tonight we heard some information that I think will change the face of emergency medical services in California. And if it wasn't for his team and the people that he works with, this would have never gotten to the governor's desk, and it'll be a monumental shift when the governor signs it. So congratulations, Chief, and all of your staff for doing, I think, a tremendous amount of legwork to get this passed. And 10 years from now, I think we'll look back at this moment and think what huge impact that's had as we realize fully the funds that will come through that process. So congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you. And Director Clark.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Mitchell, former Captain Mitchell, well, he'll always be a captain, Captain Mitchell on his award, and also the men at Station 41. I forgot the details, but I wanted to thank I'll get the details at the next session, but I had an incident in the city of Sacramento where former city councilman Grantland Johnson, he was transferred from the hospital to hospice, and they put him in the wrong bed, and so I had to go and talk to the crew. In fact, it was at Southside Park. I talked to a captain over there, and he immediately sent a crew out from, I think it's the station over there at Panama Pottery, 24th and Panama Pottery. I don't remember what, Station 12. And those guys came out right away. They helped transfer Mr. Johnson from, and it was a delicate thing because he was still, he had all the tubes and everything in him. He was going into, they brought him to the house for his final days. And I was very grateful for the work they did. They were very considerate, did a great job. And the next time I will get the names and all, but I just wanted to mention that I was very appreciative of that. And so was Mr. Johnson. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Director Kelly.
I just wanted to recognize what I consider to be the high-performing team known as Metro Fire, and look forward to seeing you folks tomorrow at the Community Foundation, or the Metro Foundation event.
Thank you. Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Azali. Congratulations to Roger. Well done, sir. Congratulations to Chief Clough. Wow. I know, you can be proud. You can be proud. It's good. It's cool. It's all right. And yeah, tomorrow, heads up. I actually took a ball of golf balls out, a bucket of balls, and practice. So make sure that cold ice water's plentiful, will you, Chief?
Thank you. So, with that, we will then adjourn into closed session. Call this meeting back into order. And legal counsel?
Here's a report from closed session. The board pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9B met to consider a claim pursuant to Government Code Section 910 of SUNY Chacon versus the district. The board, by unanimous vote, agreed to extend the settlement authority to resolve that matter. Secondly, the board pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6 met in conference with the labor negotiator. No action was taken, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, counsel. The next board meeting is scheduled for September 6th, 2014, time to be determined, and the next regular board meeting.
September 6th is Saturday.
It's a special meeting.
It's a special board meeting. And the next regular board meeting is September 11th, 2014 at 6 p.m. Seeing there is no further business, We are adjourned.